Hi everybody, and welcome to this short breath practice, Get High on Your Own Supply. So as the name might suggest, this, when done correctly and with some practice, can really make you feel a real natural high from, of course, your own breath. So it's already within you, and it's a wonderful and transformative thing to tap into. So I'm going to lead you through it. Just before we start, please note that this is not an appropriate practice for pregnant yogis. There's just too much kind of vigorous action with pulling in the belly, so I wouldn't deem it to be safe if you are pregnant. It's also something to consider is if you already have quite a lot of digestive fire, you may even suffer with IBS or Crohn's and colitis, that kind of thing. You can still practice this, but just be extra cautious, listen to your body and how it responds. This is powerful stuff. So we're going to start seated, and we'll be here for a few. So in fact, it's a really good idea if you've got a yoga brick or even one of these kind of more block-like things or a cushion, to sit yourself up on that. It really helps because it allows you to just feel a little bit more aligned in your spine. You can close your eyes for a few or just soften the gaze to the floor and just take a little moment to get into the body. So we're going to be manipulating the breath, but for the beginning, let's just listen to our natural breath. So just noticing the breath as it drops in and as it leaves the body, whether that's through the nose or the mouth. It doesn't need to be forceful. Just all we're doing for this moment is observing our natural breath cycle. In and out, and as you breathe, you just get slightly more awareness to the body. So feeling the root through the sit bones, and that rooting isn't heavy or lethargic, it's just connected. And you might even play around with slightly leaning forwards. If your natural habit is to rock back, maybe find a bit more of a forward tilt. This alone will give you a little bit more energy. Equally, if you're already very much inclined this way, you might find a little back movement. So you can feel into that, and it might shift a bit. And also just noticing the crown of the head and just feeling how it's super light when you find that sweet spot of alignment, because your head will just stack perfectly on top of your spine without you needing to use much effort for it to just kind of just sit there really. And now we're going to start to move into some rounds of what is called Kapalbhati. So Kapalbhati means shining skull breath, so that, as the name would suggest, it has this kind of luminosity for our brain function. And we're going to do 3 rounds. The first one is just going to be straight up Kapalbhati, which is just pumping the stomach, an active exhale, a passive inhale. And then on the second round, we'll experiment with breath holds. So we'll finish our round of Kapalbhati, and then we'll hold the breath out for maybe about 20 seconds or so, or up to 20 seconds. And then in the third round, we'll take our round of Kapalbhati, we'll hold the breath out, and then we'll do that pumping stomach, but just on no breath. So we'll build into it. It is strong, so of course, feel free to stop at any time, take breaks. If you feel dizzy, just come back to normal breath. It is a practice, so it's something you can build into. So for Kapalbhati, I'll just show you what it looks like if this is something you're not familiar with. It is and you might want to have tissues nearby actually. If you have a runny nose, it will probably come out. So maybe that's a good consideration. All right, so we're going to start with just a normal breath in, nice big breath in, and then take a full breath out. And we're going to go for 30 rounds. So take about an 80% full breath. And then begin. This is the pace we'll keep. Don't feel like you need to go any faster. You could also go slower. That's about halfway through. And stop. Just let your breath relax, and then inhale deeply. Exhale completely. So now we're going to go for 40 rounds, and we're going to add the external retention. So we're going to hold the breath at the end. So take that 80% inhale and begin. So it's this feeling that your belly is scooping up and under. So I'm relaxing and then pulling it in. It takes practice. That's halfway. Five more. Hold the breath out. Hold it out. Just hold the navel to the spine. Bring the chin down. Maybe close the eyes. Fix your awareness to the heart. Let's take a breath in and out. Take an extra breath here before we do this final round. So inhaling and exhaling. So now that final round, we're going to go up to 50 Kapalbhati, so 50 of them. So notice, if you can see from me, that when I inhale, my tummy muscles are getting soft. And then when I exhale, they're quickly pulling in. It's a quick exchange. So again, if it doesn't feel natural just yet, don't worry. I've been practicing this a really long time. And even now, my stomach muscles get really sore. So it's a workout in some ways. So 50 rounds. Then we're going to hold the breath out. So we're going to empty out. And then we're going to, it's called Agni Sara Kriya. I'll get more into the meaning of the word later. But for now, just know that we're going to do active exhales. And then hold out, and then pump the belly on no breath. So take that 80% breath in and begin for 50 rounds. Halfway, keep going if you can. If you need to stop, just know that you can. Try not to let the shoulders hike up to the ears. 10 more. Last 5. Hold the breath out, hold it out, and then we're going to pump the navel toward the spine. Try to do 20. And inhale and exhale. Close the eyes and just sit and notice what you feel. No need to name it even, just observe the changes. Notice that feeling of stimulation in the crown of the head. Notice heat in the belly, just noticing, and maybe you feel the opposite of these things. That's okay too. Everyone's going to respond differently, but you'll surely notice change. And so when you are ready, we're going to come to standing now. So we'll stand, you don't even really need to be on a mat here. We're not going to move through per se, but if you were on a mat, you would stand maybe about, not quite as wide as your mat, probably about shoulder distance feet. And then we're going to bend the knees. And what you're going to do here is, so it's like a very wide chair pose. You're going to really keep your knees bent, keep your glutes firing, but you're going to push into your thighs and try and straighten the arms. So that's the challenging part, because often we want to sink down. So I'm just going to show you one round before we get to it and do it together. So this is called Bastrika, so this is bellows breath. It's very similar to what we just did there, just in standing, so it's stronger, it's more powerful. And we really work with our bandhas as well, particularly this one, which is Uddiyana Bandha. If it's in simple terms, it's drawing the belly button to the spine and hollowing out the belly. So how this looks, and just watch first, is a big inhale, and then a big exhale, hollow out, and you hold. And then you breathe in. It's intense, and I'm going to say that we go for a 10-second hold on the first one, then we maybe build it to 15, and then on the final one, let's see if we can bring in pumping the belly on no breath. This is optional. Please, if it feels like it's going to make you dizzy or even faint, don't do it. But we'll build the holds longer and longer. So the key thing that I did there was I pressed my thighs away and hollowed my belly. So it's quite an extreme posture. It's meant to be. It's meant to really fire you up. So let us start the first round. So as you are ready, take a big inhale and exhale, round the spine. Hold for 10 seconds. Inhale. Woo. So if you feel comfortable on this round, really, so there's pulling the belly in and then there's hollowing it out if you feel comfortable. If not, pulling in is fine. Even just holding the breath out is fine as well. So let's go for now, maybe 15 seconds. If you need to breathe before then, please do. So big inhale. And exhale. Maybe suck the navel in. And inhale. You might be able to go for longer than me. And okay, exhale normally. This is quite powerful. We're going to take one more round. So you can either hold it for 15 seconds like we just did, or pump the navel, which you could argue is easier because it kind of gives you something to do, so the time seems to pass quicker. Just do what is right for you. One thing is going to work differently for me than it is for you, so just please take your time and listen to your body, and remember this is a practice, so you can do this every day for the rest of your life and you'll be kind of holding your breath for hours by the end. So final time, big breath in and out fully. Hold or pump the navel. And fold forward. And just dangle there for a moment. Ooh, it's really strong, but it's very, very good for you in the long run. It is powerfully it really, for me, my personal experience is it's lifted me out of a lot of low moods, even depression. So that is why I enjoy it so much, even though it is very hard. But yeah, getting that fire going in the belly has profound effects. And also, although the hormone serotonin is kind of associated with brain chemistry, 95% of it is made in the gut. So all of these pumping actions, particularly when we pump the belly on no breath, that is incredibly boosting for serotonin. So one more exercise here, and please, if you're already feeling like I have had enough, then you even just do one of each of them. Just do one each time, basically. All right, so the final one is we're going to move through downward dog and plank pose, and also playing with breath, holding the breath out. We're going to add in one of my favorite pranayamas, which is lion's breath. I'll just show you what that looks like just kneeling. So it's a big breath in, and then a there's no half measures with it. You kind of need to do it all or nothing. And you can even stretch out the muscles in the face and do those quite manic eyes like I just did. It's incredibly powerful when practiced properly. So I'll show you one more time before we apply it. So inhale nice and fully. I feel quite silly, but that's okay. And now how is this going to come into our next exercise? So what we'll do is we'll go into a slightly shorter downward dog with the feet wider than you would have them. This is so you can get a feeling of bounce, because we actually want to shoot our body forwards and backwards here. So what we'll do, just watch first, is we'll take a big inhale to come forward to this kind of high plank. Then you're going to lion's breath and hold the breath out at the end of that lion's breath for 10 seconds. And then you'll replenish. So we're going to actually keep moving through 5 times. So there's no kind of break breaths here. Obviously, if you need to take them, please do. But we're going to see if we can go for 5 rounds. Let's just say for a 10-second breath hold each time, rather than trying to build on it, because it's a lot more demanding in this position. So let's start. Inhale, forward to plank, fill up, bring that buoyancy into the lungs, and then tongue out. Hold the breath for 10 seconds. Inhale, tongue out, 10 seconds. Inhale, lion's breath, 10 seconds. Inhale, exhale, 10 seconds. Try and draw the navel up to the spine if you can, bonus. Inhale, last one. Pull the navel to the spine if you can. Inhale normally. Sit back to your heels. It's powerful stuff. And now come into a really easy child's pose. You can hear my voice has almost gone up like a helium thing, but let's take now just 10 normal breaths. And I just want you to be in a position where you can feel it. So maybe it's a really nice supported child's pose with the arms supporting the head. It could even be kneeling. That's kind of my favorite at the moment. For whatever reason, this seems to let me feel. Or come and lay on your back, and we'll just take 10 breaths together without trying to make kind of a length of breath, just normal breaths, inhaling. Eyes closed, ideally. Notice the heartbeat, notice your circulation. Just there's so much that is stimulated here. Notice how as well it kind of just pushes you just beyond, or maybe quite a lot beyond that comfort barrier. But when we learn to do that in a safe and a controlled, a guided environment with a teacher, it's really powerful. So we're not kind of doing crazy stuff just for the sake of it, we're doing it with intention. Just take, depending on the length of your breath, 3 more, maybe more. You're breathing really slowly by now. And maybe if you're lying on your back, you actually stay for a bit. If you've the time, you can really bathe in this after effect. So I'll just let this kind of play out, and I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for practicing.